So right now we're on our way to AutoZone. This is kind of weird. Yesterday when I was doing a video on showing you how to do the calipers, the car wouldn't start because the starter was going bad. I had to hit the actual starter solenoid with the flathead. But this morning it's working, which is confusing me. So I think I'm just gonna go buy the starter anyways and replace it because I don't want that to become an issue. And it does look super old, so I'm pretty sure it's the original. All right, so I'm gonna move out the Evo and then pull in the Miata. So we just went to AutoZone. It seems like the starter is still working, which kind of sucks, but I want to change it anyways. It's not that expensive. It comes out to $60, like $65 after taxes, so it's not that much money. Better peace of mind than anything. So the way this sits on the car is sits right under the intake manifold, and right in front, like right here, is the oil filter. So if you're familiar changing your oil, the oil filter is here, and this is where the starter's at. So this is bolted. The transmission bell housing's right here, goes down, and then your shifter's over here, and then the motor sits right here. So it goes basically right in this area down here, right under this, like this. And there's a bolt here, there's a bolt here, and there's a bolt here. Now these two bolts, from what I saw online, they have threads that bolt from the back of the motor this way, and this one right here is in front, so we have to come from this way. So the head of the bolt's gonna be on this side, and on these two, the bolt of the head's gonna be on the back side. And then you have these two brackets where it hooked up to like a metal bracket, and there's one like 14mm bolt that's on the engine. So I'll take that apart so you guys can see, and then I gotta jack up the car, so I'll put you guys on time lapse. Okay, so real quick, apparently there's a lot of you can get to the starter through here really easy. You only have to jack it from one side because you're only gonna be working on this side. So jack it as high as possible on one side like I did. I have these full max, so I'm gonna keep the jack under here for extra protection, and I'm gonna put one of the rims down there just in case it does fall. I have some time to escape. So just put this way down there somewhere where it's not in your way. Put it like right there. So it'll buy me some time if it does decide to come down. I don't know if you guys remember on the video, I told you guys I installed springs and shocks. Well, these shocks came stock with the car, and I installed these aftermarket Tane springs, the Aztecs, which are really good, but all the shocks are blown. So I ordered some shocks, so I'll be doing a video on that pretty soon. That's the first bolt I'm gonna try to attempt to take out. I'm gonna use a 1/2-inch drive Harbor Freight, 2 extensions, and a swivel. If you don't know what a swivel is, it basically, they're fixed like this most of the time. This lets you be off a little bit and still hook up to it, which we're gonna need. And then here are my 1/2-inch sockets, which I think it's a 14mm. And I do have this power drill, but I don't wanna use that because I'd rather go by hand because I don't wanna break or strip the nut. And there's one more thing I'm gonna use. I use this breaker bar from an old Harbor Freight jack. I just literally took it off my old aluminum one that used to be like this. It was 2-piece, and I kept this piece when I threw the other one away. This thing always comes in clutch. I'll show you how to use that. All right, so you guys can see I'm doing it right above the A-arm. I have a straight shot, the closest straight shot I have, and that's what you want. You want to have the straightest shot with a little bit of angle. So I'm gonna use one more extension. That should give you the proper. Just once it's pushed in, there, we broke it. So easy. All right, so we took off the bracket bolt that goes on that side. Now we're gonna take off the two on top that are up here, and they're in a really tight spot by the transmission bell housing. I'm gonna go down here and show you exactly where it's at. I'm gonna film the whole process so you guys can see as best as possible. Now I'm gonna get my extension and go from the front of the car through here, as you can see, and then we'll find it over here, and then let me straighten it out. So hopefully you guys can see there. So I'm just turning this and holding it. That's it, there's another one. All right, so the first one we took off was this one, which has no thread down here. That one was a bolt and a nut. This one is just a bolt because the starter actually has a thread there. so we're moving on to this one. I'm gonna show you how I'm taking this off. 14 millimeter with the swivel. And as you can see, I already have it jammed in here. I already broke it. There it is. And that was, I just want to show you guys. I'm not gonna be able to film this because there's nowhere really like to mount the GoPro. There's no room whatsoever, and I could possibly break the GoPro. I don't want to break it. And at first, what you want to use is a breaker bar, like I showed you before, and connect this here to the actual wrench, and break it, and then remove it, and then do it by hand, and you should be solid. All right, so far we've taken off 2 screws, or actually 3. We've taken off the bottom one. This one was the one with the bolt and the nut. This one's the one that had a thread, so it was just a bolt, and that had some kind of power stuff adapted to it. And we removed the bracket that's not on this yet because it's a new one. Now what I'm going to concentrate next is disconnecting the electricity stuff. This is a plug that just pulls out, and I believe this is the negative or the positive, one of the two. I'm going to disconnect this, and I got to find out what this is. From what I read online, like this was like the only thing that was not millimeter, or not millimeter, was a standard size. All right, so the internet was right. This is not millimeter, it's a standard size, which is a 1/2 inch. As you can see, this fits nice and flush, and this thing fits perfect. All right guys, so I want to explain something really important that goes with life and doing mechanical stuff. When you're gonna attack a project, don't just like buy the part and say, you know what, we're just gonna do it and we'll figure it out. Do your homework, have a strategy, have a plan A, have a plan B, have a plan Z, because sometimes you think it's gonna go your way and it doesn't. And that's how life is, and that's how basically working on cars are. I did extensive research on the forums. I did extensive research on YouTube. I probably watched 3 YouTube videos, and I got a way better understanding. The reason why I want to do it is because I felt like I could make a better YouTube video than those people, because there was stuff that I feel like they left out, so I'll redo it, and there's more content. And plus there's only like 3 videos on there. Having a strategy, something different that I did that they didn't do, was make yourself room. See these lines? I believe these are like fuel return lines. They're all in the way right here where you need to look and get those wires out. So I went and easily just zip tied this out of the way, pushed them out. You can be kind of strong on them, they won't break, they're not that fragile. Now let me get a light in here so you guys can see. This is what we're gonna attack. Remember what I was talking about? So we're gonna go ahead and pull that little plug out and start disconnecting stuff. Remember, always have a strategy. Do some research before you attack something, if you want to succeed in life and you want to succeed in mechanically wise as well. All right, so I got the GoPro in there with the light. Hopefully you guys can see, and it's gonna make my life harder because I can't literally stick my hand in there, but I'll try my best. Okay, that's one cable gone. See, if I could do it with the GoPro in the way and the light, you guys can do it. There you go, got it. All right, so I believe we have one more bolt to go, and then we'll be pretty solid. Yesterday when I was doing a video on the e-brake, I was kind of upset. I was like, dude, this looks so hard, but honestly, it's not that bad. Quick rundown, we got the little plug that came off here, and we took off this nut, took off that harness. Now we have the hardest one of them all, which is, this is how it sits. This isn't back, this is like almost on top of the bell housing, and it's really hard. I can't get a camera in there. I could get the camera in there, but I can't get in the light, so there's no point in me filming it. I'm really sorry guys, but I'm gonna tell you a quick tips on how to succeed in this. First of all, buy the starter so you can see where all the bolts are, and you can mock it up so you have a game plan that you can think outside of the car. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna jimmy this up on top of the bell housing, get to this bolt and unbolt it with the 1/2 inch 14, a 1/2 inch swivel, and a 1/2 inch extension. I don't know if I'm gonna use 1 or 2, I don't know yet. Quick tip, I tried it already and I was struggling. This thing's flimsy, so you kind of want this a little stiff. So a quick tip that I learned working at Midas is you tape this and you make it as straight as you want with electrical tape, okay? You tape the swivel like this. And you don't want to put too much tape because you still want it to swivel, but you just want it a little stiffer, because basically I'm gonna be guiding this from like the back of the transmission to the top, or the side of the transmission. So now it's pretty stiff but flexible at the same time. So that's a quick tip. That's gonna save you so much time, guys. All right, guys, so I got that bolt out. It wasn't that hard. I thought it was gonna be a little harder. I'll show you the setup I used. I left the bolt up there yet still. I didn't take it out completely because I think it's gonna make my life easier. Basically, I used a 1/2 inch, 2 extensions, the swivel and the tape, and then when you go up there, what I had to do was straight, right? I just bent it to stay like that, and I was able to hook it up. So that being done, the starter is basically loose. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's loose there. So we got the starter out, and we have the comparison of the new one and the old one. Now, before you install anything, you want to make sure that it's exactly the same. Sometimes auto parts mess up. It could either be the company that where they stocked it could be wrong, or when they shipped it could have been wrong, or the actual sales rep gave you the wrong part. For those reasons, you want to check before you start chasing your tail. Is it an 8? Yeah, it's an 8. Okay. Okay. All right, cool. So you keep that, and then you box this and take that back to AutoZone. So this guy's gonna go like so, like that. So after you do that, tighten this little guy up. All right, so I'm gonna install it exactly how I took it out. All right, guys, so I'm finally done installing this starter. Sorry I couldn't film the process of installing it. I was starting to get frustrated because when I took off that bracket, I kind of bent it because I was putting weight. So don't put any weight on that metal bracket that you have to transfer from the old one to the new one. You want to bolt up the first bolt on the bottom that had the bolt and the nut. After you tighten that one, just don't tighten it all the way, just tighten it like halfway so it's nice and on there. So the next one you have to put on, it's the one on the side that you can actually see. This one first, the one with the nut, and then there's one right above it. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's one right above it, this one right here. Then you want to hook up that one halfway. After you hook up these two, then you want to do the one way at the top of the bell housing from the back, and tighten that one. And once you get that tight, then you want to loosen this bracket bolt right here. So this is flimsy. Then when you loosen this bracket, then you put on that 14 back on. It's easier to line up. Tighten that one super tight, and then tighten this back up, and you should be solid. So now let's see if it turns on. Oh my God, here's the old one. But yeah, don't put any weight on that bracket because I actually bent it. There it goes. And the funny thing that it was starting, the car was working this morning, when yesterday I was having the problems. I have a feeling because of the rain, it was wetting it, but it's pretty old, so I need to change it anyway. So it should start no problem. See? Like nothing. There you go. So the starter's in and it works. All right, guys, so that wraps it up. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. I'll try to reply to the comments down below as soon as possible. I'll keep a good eye on that. It wasn't that bad. If I had to say from 1 to 10, moving the starter was probably like a 5. Do your research. Even though I do YouTube videos and I have a good knowledge on working on cars, first I'll watch a YouTube video. If there's not a YouTube video, then I'll go on the forums and check it out. But if I find both of them, I'll look at both of them. I'll look at pictures and I do all my research before I install it. And 2 good tips is that you're gonna have to use a 1/2 inch to break them because the 3/8 fits nicer in there, but it kind of bends. On top of that, get a swivel. A swivel is a must. They're not that expensive. You can go to Harbor Freight. I use the Harbor Freight ones. They work. Do the little electrical tape I taught you. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Cars On Board, and don't forget to check out our online store at carsonboardchannel.com. One more thing, please smash the like button because it helps out the channel, but most importantly, it helps out you guys. The more likes it has, it'll bracket higher when someone searches how to install a starter on a Miata. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you on the next one.